You're not actually as lazy as you think you are, and it's not some sort of genetic thing getting passed down to you, because I'm sure your grandparents and the older generations, they always tell the youth that we're getting more lazy, but it's actually not a lazy problem. It's a problem of demotivation that has been proven to be true. And what I realized is it's this one thing that's causing our youth to be more lazy than the older generations, and that's overstimulation. I kind of found in my own little research that the people around me in my life, the higher their screen time was, the higher their phone use was, the more lazy they actually were. But I was wondering, okay, well, why is that? I need to get down to the root cause. And that is simply because of a neurochemical called dopamine responsible for our motivation in our life. It's not actually that we're lazy, it's more so that we don't feel the motivation to do anything about it. And that is because we have a normal baseline of dopamine. And this is how our spikes go, our spikes and troughs, our spikes and troughs. But what happens with overstimulation, whether it be eating junk food or scrolling or any sort of activity that gives us instant gratification, we have higher spikes in dopamine, which means we have a lower dip in dopamine as well, and the trough, which adjusts our normal baseline to actually be lower than it normally is, which means it takes more dopamine release to actually feel a sense of fulfillment, of something good and motivating in our life. Think about an activity that you've done recently, like exercising or just the little tasks like reading a book. Does it really feel that good anymore to do after scrolling hours a day? Or even scrolling hours a day, it can reset our dopamine levels to even that doesn't feel as good as maybe it once did back in 2020 or whenever it became a popular thing. And that is because there's multiple different things happening to us. Our brain is changing in a way that is responsive to the higher dopamine surges now, which can be terrible because it can lead to this lethargic feeling and even into symptoms of depression because we're not motivated to even live anymore, which is the craziest thing. And you may know some of this stuff, but you feel like you can't stop anyway, or it's just happening unconsciously. Well, that is true. Our dopamine system are hijacked because of this overstimulation to make us addicted to it. So we will literally throw away our well-being just to reach and get this dopamine rush from overstimulation or whatever it is. This is exactly what happens with drugs. Is people will take them, get these high surges of dopamine, and then get addicted to it because they like that high surge feeling. And this could lead to a negative feedback loop. So how can we stop this so then we could become motivated and not become lazy? We need to begin to reset our dopamine levels. So the first thing to do is dopamine fasting. Take breaks from all of this overstimulation. Maybe take a day where you do no technology or no phone every week, and then start to reset these levels and take sort of small breaks. And then the second thing you need to do is seek effortful rewards. These are the rewards that come from doing the effort. So whether that be clean diet or hard exercise or good workouts, that is an effortful reward. And the third and last thing to do is limit the amount of social media or limit the amount of excess junk food, this cheap dopamine that we are getting. When we implement these three things, then it allows our motivations to go sky high and our laziness to drop off the charts, which allows us to actually be motivated into reaching our goals or just doing simple tasks, and which leads us to not be lazy or this big image of being lazy. But there is one rule that always beats laziness. If you want to check that out, it's somewhere on screen. But thank you so much for watching, and take control now.